Welcome everyone and thank you so much for joining in. So since the price of Bitcoin unfortunately closed below this 200 weekly SMA, now is this a sign that we could be getting gravitated towards this 300 weekly SMA, which right now is sitting around 16,800 area? Is it going to happen? Because we have seen, guys, in the past price action in an uptrend, or even when the price of Bitcoin was showing a reversal, the 200 weekly SMA, the red line, has always acted as a strong line of support. Since the price was below it, the same line acted as a resistance. We were aware of that. But right now for us, the most important line to hold at any cost will be this 19,000 to 20,000 range, because this 19,000, this was the high from 2017, around this 19 to 20,000 range, and this is exactly where we are holding the support. So that's why what we want here for the upcoming days is to remain above 19,000. If the price of Bitcoin wants to show any sort of a impulsive movement, trying to break above this 200 weekly SMA around 22,600 one more time. So let's hope, even though that this weekly has closed below this 200 weekly SMA, we want the price to remain above this 19,000. Because if you look at this in a very simple way, I mean by simply adding this Fibonacci extension line, if this is going to play out, I mean if the price of Bitcoin is going to continue this extension here towards this 100%, you can see the 100% Fibonacci extension line is lying around 12,000 range, guys. That's why 0.786 to 100% Fibonacci extension, you can see there is a big gap in between, because here you can see 0.236, 0.382, 0.5 Fibonacci line, the golden pocket 0.618. But after this 0.786, you can see we have this 100% Fibonacci extension line, and that is around 12,000. So if we are going to break below this 19,000, then according to this moving averages, the weekly SMA, our next target is going to be around the 16,000, right? And in the worst case scenario, the 100% Fibonacci extension line is also going to remain our potential downward price target if the price of Bitcoin remains below this 22,600 all the time. Not just only this, guys, if you also add this CPR indicator, CPR is a leading indicator and gives us information beforehand. Whenever we have seen the price of Bitcoin starting this new uptrend like this, the CPR line usually travels in this formation. I mean higher highs, higher lows formation. But once the price breaks below the CPR line, the same line acts as a resistance. But once we are above it, the line turns into support. It's a very simple way of determining the trend direction. In this case, you can see trend was clearly in a downtrend since we were below it. But once we were above it, we showed some bullishness. But in our case, guys, in our case right now, if we look at this CPR indicator, this is a descending CPR. Descending CPR means the trend is still showing this weakness. You can see the same line, right? The same line, which used to be a support, acted as a resistance. We had this price retracement here. The price tried to break above the CPR line but got rejected, and then price retraced here. Very similar scenario, another retracement, and now this is also a warning sign. I mean the price of Bitcoin unfortunately was not able to find a support above this bottom CPR line, and now we are also showing this reversal. When does this reversal happen? When the price of Bitcoin is in a downtrend, because in a downtrend the CPR line acts as a resistance. So if this is going to be another bigger rejection for Bitcoin like this, then the lower price target according to this July CPR is around $14,357. So this 14,300 is also going to be looked as our potential downward target as long as the price of Bitcoin remains below this 22,600 price range. So let's hope that the price of Bitcoin manages to stay above this 19,000-20,000 here for the upcoming days, hold the support line, but failing to hold that support area is going to trigger a sell-off where we could be getting gravitated. As you can see, according to the CPR, 14,000 is our target. According to this weekly SMA, 16,800 is going to be our potential target here, this green line. And according to this Fibonacci extension, if this extension is going to extend 100%, then 12,000 could also be on the line. These are some very bearish target. I'm aware of that, guys, but I'm showing exactly what I see here in price action of Bitcoin. So that's why as long as the price of Bitcoin is going to remain below this CPI line, this is also looked as a bearish scenario. And beside this, if you also look at this very simple example, we can see the price of Bitcoin is still in a downtrend because we are getting rejection from this Williams alligator indicator. Whenever the trend is in a downtrend, this Williams alligator indicator, just like CPI line, also acts as a resistance line. So since the price of Bitcoin is still below this Williams alligator indicator, we have to be careful because losing the support, just like here from past price action, you can see, could result in a bigger price retracement, and we don't want that to happen. So that's why, to avoid this, we want the price of Bitcoin at any cost to remain above this trend line, because this trend line is going to be one of the strongest line of support for Bitcoin, which is between 19,000 to 20,000 price range. But if we lose the support, then we are over, guys. 300 weekly SMA, 100% Fibonacci extension, and also the CPR, the monthly S1 line, all are going to be looked as our potential downward target. But if we look at this price structure here in a smaller time frame, or let's say in a 4-hour time frame, you can see the price of Bitcoin is still forming this higher lows. But if you look at the overall, you can see the market is still weakening. But if you look at this in a smaller time frame, let me show you this very interesting scenario which could be also playing out right now. And now, before I switch into other chart, I just want to make you aware we have up to $5,150 crypto exchange bonus available for you in the description down below. PHEMEX is giving around $4,100 bonus after your initial deposit, and BYBIT around $1,050 bonus. So if you are an experienced trader, if you want to take advantage of this market volatility, the link is provided in the description down below, so feel free to check it out. Now let's switch the chart. So now if we look at this here in a 4-hour time frame, you can see our SMA pattern has unfortunately failed because the price of Bitcoin was not able to find our support above this 21,500, 21,600 range. But now, since we are heading here to the downside, what to expect next? For us right now, the most important thing is to hold this falling trend line, because this falling trend line, with the previous example we found out around this 19,000, is going to be a strong line of support. And also, if you look at this price action here in this way, you can see this falling trend line is definitely going to be another important line of support for Bitcoin, because here we always got a strong resistance, right? This line has acted as a support once, so could be also acting as a support twice. But this here could be a trend continuation here in this manner. I mean, price testing the lower line area, the line which previously acted as a resistance, and then maybe it's going to decide the next potential movement. For now, as you can see, the overall market structure is looking weak. All the bullish scenario which we have talked has been failing one after another. So that's why this is a sign the trend is weakening. In overall market structure is also weakening. So that's why we are not going to be completely bullish. But as long as we are going to remain over this 19 to 20,000, between that range, we still have some hope left. So let's see which direction the trend of Bitcoin is going to choose. But for now, keep this in mind, the trend of Bitcoin is weakening, right? Weakening. So if we do see this retracement happening here in the medium short term, the 0.5 Fibonacci line 20,000 has already been broken. So if this trend is going to continue, then you can see exactly at this golden pocket, exact 20,000 is also on the line. So let's see what the price of Bitcoin do. But overall market structure is still weak. I'm saying you again and again. So these are some of the quick updates that I wanted to share with you in today's video. If you enjoyed my work, then please destroy the like button, and also for those individuals watching this for the first time, hit the subscribe button and the bell. So by saying this, I'm signing out. My name is Anup. Bye bye.